Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my next episode of Fighterpreneur's live podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you spending some time with me here listening. It is Saturday, May 16, 2020 at the time of this recording, and this is end of week 9 since pandemic forced the global lockdown due to COVID-19 virus spread. In this episode, I will walk you through the 5 biggest challenges aspiring athletes, entrepreneurs, or business owners like me and you face along the journey prior to going professional in your sport. If you are an aspiring athlete but don't know the major challenges you are likely to face before becoming a professional, relax. You have made the right step by listening to this show. Let's get started and look at each in a little more detail. The idea that you can do yourself some good by practicing a sport is no myth. As well as exercising many muscles, athletics build mental strength given the new situations the mind has to cope with. An approach that is amusing and promotes general well-being and motivation. Athletics is a sport that covers every possible area, and that's what we love about it. Sport is a huge part of most of our lives, and it should be all about fitness and enjoyment, although sometimes problems rear their ugly heads and cause nothing but bother and annoyance. Professional level athletes and sports people are wrapped in cotton wool, pampered by physios, and showered with the best equipment, training and facilities. What about aspiring athletes? Athletes often face challenges and pressure to combine their education and private life with sport. The aim to succeed at the highest level of a sport demands intensive training and competition, which can be difficult to combine with academics or work and domestic chores. Dual career pathways should be beneficial for athletes, allowing for education and sporting activities at the same time. These pathways will allow for a clearer direction of an athlete's future for life after sport. In light of the above, to give you a heads up while you figure out how to become a professional athlete, I have put together the challenges you are likely to be confronted with as an aspiring athlete. If you are on your way of becoming a professional athlete, the faster you will be able to cope with these challenges, the better the chances that you will be experiencing success in both your personal and professional life. The challenges can pull you down from your aspirations. These challenges range from time management, discipline, sponsorship, diet to maintain optimal health, to injuries and training routine. One of the hallmarks of aspiring athletes is the desire to improve themselves and become pro in the long run. Athletes at all levels use mental training and sports psychology to become better athletes and overcome their mental game challenges. Mental training helps athletes perform more consistently, find the zone more often, keep a winning streak alive, and learn how to think well under pressure. Number 1 is discipline and time management. The first factor that negatively hinders aspiring athletes is poor time management skills. Inability to properly find time to combine full-time employment, academics, and athletics is the leading cause of aspiring athletes' failure. Being too devoted to their sport, aspiring athletes are inattentive to schoolwork or corporate life. Between classes, homework, practices, games, and travel, it can be a challenge to fit everything in. However, with great time management strategies, aspiring athletes can juggle all the responsibilities and accomplish academic and athletic goals. It is critical to remind ourselves that when we say yes to something, it is imperative that we understand what we are saying no to. You can't please everyone, so don't try and stick to your own priorities. I know being disciplined often feels counterintuitive, but I learned that discipline truly is gateway to freedom once fully mastered. Number 2 is lack of sponsors. Like musicians, artists, and entrepreneurs, aspiring athletes have big dreams. Unfortunately though, many lack the necessary funding, sponsorships, and support of their immediate environment to help realize their audacious goals. A sponsor will mostly look to get associated with someone they have heard about, as they would certainly want to get their money's worth. Aspiring athletes often don't define the pathway, and that makes it difficult to attract sponsors. In return for backing sports endeavors, sponsors have the potential to receive a variety of rewards and the feeling that they have helped aspiring athletes along the path to success. If you are currently struggling with getting sponsors, you can try out these platforms: Rally Me, Sport Funder, and Sponsor Me. I'm going to list them in the show notes for you, so check it out and give it a shot. There is nothing to lose, and to set up your profile only takes you 5 to 10 minutes. I personally used Sponsor Me in the past, and with the help of all of my supportive friends, training partners and family of course, I was able to cover the fees for two of my very important upcoming BJJ tournaments at the time, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you so much again to all that recognize themselves when listening to this episode. You know I love you and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you challenge yourself competing in your sport as much as possible, I'm sure you know all the expenses can add up for one, especially when you are supposed to work and make money on the weekend, but instead you are facing your fears and doubts at some international level tournament hundreds of miles away from home. It took me a while to internalize this, but remember, there is no losing. It's either winning or learning when competing, so don't ever let your fear of failure stop you from significant improvement that's irreplaceable and can only be gained in the process of competing. I place diet to maintain optimal health and fitness levels as number 3. Many aspiring athletes will find it difficult to achieve sound nutritional practices to optimize their sports performance. Factors include poor nutrition knowledge, dietary extremism, poor practical skills in choosing or preparing meals, and reduced access to food due to a busy lifestyle and frequent commute, especially if you live in a big city with heavy traffic like Toronto. Education in nutrition for an athlete needs to be practical so as to address eating strategies and key food and fluid choices that will help to achieve your goals of sound personalized nutrition. Strategies that can achieve a number of nutritional goals simultaneously are most useful, since aspiring athletes often find it difficult to integrate separate issues of a healthy diet. If you can afford advice of certified dietitians, personal trainers, or meal plans specifically tailored to your needs, try using something like MyFitnessPal, where they know very well that fitness and performing at our best starts with what we eat. I recommend you all trying intermittent fasting, which for me really works nicely, and I use an app called Zero to help me track my fasts. Start with 16-8, basically meaning you don't eat for 16 hours including time while you sleep, and then your feeding window is in those 8 hours during the day while awake. This supports your natural HGH human growth hormones levels boost, and you feel more energy overall thanks to less sugar level spikes imbalances. Number 4 is inability to stay motivated to train and fear of competition. Motivation is the foundation of all athletic effort and accomplishment. Without your desire and determination to improve your sport performances, all of the other mental factors, confidence, intensity, focus, and emotions are meaningless. To become the best athlete you can be, you must be motivated to do what it takes to maximize your ability to achieve your goals consistently. Motivation is the mental process that initiates, sustains, or guides an aspiring athlete's behavior, such as training, approach to competition, managing adversity, injuries, and performance. There are two types of motivation in sports: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. If you are struggling to get excited about training, you may need to reevaluate your intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. What are these for you? It is your legacy, desire for recognition, or is it idea of making fortune and make a decent living out of something that started just as a hobby? You can combat this challenge by writing down your main performance goals and the exact training regimen necessary to achieve each. Also keep track of your progress in training, your cardio, fitness levels, calories intake, as well as expenditure and quality of sleep with something like Fitbit smartwatch. I personally love using it, as it really helps me pushing harder every time, making an extra effort to surpass my last personal best. I learned that I have to put the action first, and what do I mean by that? Well, when our mood or energy is low, motivation follows action rather than the other way around. When we put the action first, motivation follows. It honestly works like magic. I'm sure you all experienced days when you felt really lazy to go to the gym, or simply let your mind telling you, relax, take it easy, you had a busy day at work, so skip it today and go to the class tomorrow when you feel better. Yes, of course, I've been there too, and not once, just to end up feeling guilty and worse instead. On the other hand, when you push through even when we often don't feel like it and go to that exhausting class or grind out through workout, we feel more accomplished, way more energized and proud of ourselves. You feel me? Remember, it is mindset what separates best from the rest. Lastly, is disregarding injuries. A mistake that many aspiring athletes make is not giving their bodies a chance to completely heal from injury before continuing in training and competition. The notion of no pain, no gain is archaic. When you disregard injuries, it will become a cog in the wheel of your progress. Therefore, in my opinion, get diagnosed early when in doubt and be patient with rehab before returning. Stop thinking about the time you are missing or the disappointment of your coach and fans, and instead focus on your long-term plan to become even better once you are completely healed. Don't forget, good things always take time, so let's be patient with ourselves when it comes to recovery. And that would be it. If you're an aspiring athlete, you need to keep these challenges in mind and find the most efficient ways to resolve them so that you can become a professional athlete in your sport in the coming months or hopefully within the next 1 to 3 years, depending how far along you currently are and how bad you want it. You are the only one who can change yourself, whether it's for better or worse, and quote by George Halas in the book The One Thing by Gary Keller only solidifies this statement. Nobody who ever gave his best regretted it. I realize and definitely feel it too. There are currently even more challenges we all need to push through due to COVID-19 restrictions, such gyms remaining closed, travel, social distancing and competitions cancelled for most of 2020 here in Canada and similarly most of the world. Finally, all these lockdown restrictions seem to be getting loosened up a bit with stage 1 of reopening Ontario economy from Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. So let's see what it brings and hopefully we'll all be able to come back to our freedom lifestyle very soon again. Let me know what are the biggest struggles you are facing as an aspiring athlete, entrepreneur or business owner for you personally, and what do you do to overcome them. As you can see, these challenges can be the difference between remaining where you are and growing to become a professional athlete. As an aspiring athlete, you need to put modalities in place to surmount these challenges, otherwise you would be running in a circle. When you do this and learn strategies necessary to overcome these obstacles, you would be a step closer to being a professional sportsman. What methods or processes do you have in place to overcome these mutual challenges climbing to that imaginary mountaintop? Please share your thoughts with me using voice message option if you are listening on Anchor app. Shoot me a DM at Fighterpreneur on Facebook or Instagram or get in touch on my blog at fighterpreneur.com. Alright, let me finish here with one of my favorite quotes on challenge, which I always try to remember, reminding myself when I get hesitant about facing my fears or pursuing that next business project I would otherwise avoid at all cost. Why? Just because it's difficult, requires hard work and time to figure out. Sure, it would be much easier to pass. You guessed it. This very well-known quote by Fred DeVito goes like this: if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. I hope you guys learned something new, so you have a good reason joining me in my next episode of Fighterpreneur's Life podcast again in 2 weeks, where I'll be talking about top 5 business ideas of 2020 to create freedom we all deserve. Stay strong and healthy you all. Until next time, peace out.